So in this lecture, I'm going to be showing you guys how to use a free online tool to create and design your mind maps properly and effectively. It is called Canva.com. You can use it for a lot of different things, but we're going to focus on mind maps right here. I used it for all the presentations and mind maps in the course. So all the templates that I provided, they are just examples. If you ever want to edit them, you can go on Canva.com and you can find the template and edit it. So you just go on Find Templates. As soon as you go on Canva, you sign up with your email, you go on Find Templates, and you just write mind maps. And you're going to have a lot of different examples of mind maps that you can use for any reason. There are a lot of different reasons that are a lot of different mind maps that are already set up and related to a certain topic like career planning or website creation or business plan, or you can always just change it according to what you want. So let's go with the website creation mind map, for example. I'm just going to show you guys how to use Canva for mind mapping. You choose a certain layout, you're going to see it. If you don't like it, you can always choose another layout and change. Once you do, they're going to ask you that you're going to replace it. If you say yes, replace it, it's going to replace it. But if you just want to compare, you can always add a new page and just drag whatever you want and put it right there, and it's not going to replace it. As long as you add a new page, you don't put it on top of it. Even if you put it on top of this, it's going to replace it, right? So make sure that if you want to keep it, don't click on replace. You can always add a new page and add the new one. So here you have all the different shapes. The bigger shapes are the branches, smaller shapes are sub branches, and the big one in the middle is, of course, the main idea. You just double click on any text to change it. You change anything you want, and up there is the menu for you to change the font, the size, the color, bold, italic, orientation, size, spacing, copy, arrange, transparency. You change whatever you want. And if you just want to delete a text, you would just double click on it, select all of it, delete it, and just click anywhere else and it would disappear. Now, all the different shapes that you're seeing, we talked before about adding color. You can click on any one of them and you can, right here, you see that there's a color. You click on it and you can change the color to whatever you want. You can click on this as well. Here, you can change the color. Any shape, you just double click on it and you'll be able to change the shape. Not just that, well, you want to add more shapes. First, it can be as easy as clicking on one, copy, paste, and then you'll have another one. Another one, you can't copy text though. I'm going to show you how to add text, but shapes, copy, paste, and bam, you got another one. So you want to add maybe a few more. If you want to add another branch, I don't know, but you guys can see how it's going. It's right here. So yeah, now for texts, you just there are layouts right here. As you said, there are texts right here. You just click on any of them. Click on one. You write whatever you want, and then you can change the font, you can change the size, you can change the color, you can put it in bold, put it all in capitals. It's basically, you can basically do whatever you want, and then you'll have your text, and you can add it. If you want to add it, for example, right here, you would just delete that, and boom, you would add this right here. Done. Another thing is changing the background color. If you think that the background color is not nice and you want to change it, you can always use a solid color, or you can make it more interesting and use a certain pattern to it. You can put whatever you want, right? You change the background. You know how to copy and paste all the different shapes, even lines right here. You need to be very precise and click on it, but you can also copy and paste it. If you want to use this line for something else, you want to put it something else, maybe connect the main idea with the branch that we added right there. So what you do is, you're going to see that there's an orientation. When you click on the branch, you're going to see that you can make it longer, bigger, shorter, make it longer, you can rotate it, and then you move it, and bam, you build the connection, right? And not just that, maybe you don't want these lines. Maybe you don't want these shapes. Maybe you want to use something else. How do you add images? First, you can always upload your own personal images and shapes and all that. Like this is, for example, some shapes. You can add them. These are things that I added myself. However, you can always go to shapes right here. In elements, there are shapes, and you can find all the different shapes that you might need, and you can add them. Maybe you don't want a circle right here. You remove it, and you want a triangle instead, and just put a triangle right here. Now you're gonna see that it's on top of the word, and what you do is you put a range right here. You go on a range and you send it to back, and boom, you change the shape. It's a triangle right now. You could choose any shape. You can really, literally choose any shape you want. Lines as well. So you don't even have to copy and paste lines. You can go on lines and you can choose any line you want, and you can choose the color of the line as well. Just like this, you can click on it and you can change the color. Any line that you get, you can eventually change the color of this line. There are illustrations, of course, that you can also use when you're doing your mind mapping. Some illustrations are useful for you to be able to just link stuff to a certain image. There are a lot more, they just need to load. There are a lot of illustrations that you can use. Most of them are free. Let's say, for example, when you're looking at design, that reminds you of looking at the design, and you add this as an image on top of it just for you for the visual perception. You can do that. If you didn't find what you want in illustrations, you can always go to icons as well. They're not as detailed as illustrations, but you can also add stuff right here. You want to focus on front end. Maybe you want to add this phone and change the color of it. You want to add it and put the front end inside of this phone for you to remember it. This is you changing the visual perception of it. And finally, maybe you want to add some charts. Charts are also available on Canva. You can add whichever chart you want, and then you can add one. And by double clicking on it, you can just go through all the labels and values, and you can change the graph based on what you need. But we don't need it right here. And this is it. Then you can download it. You can share it. You can do whatever you want with it. As we said, changing background text, adding icons, elements, you do whatever you want. You can choose a layout, or even if you don't want to choose a pre-existing layout, which I highly recommend because they're really good layouts, and they're really nice. They're good looking and they're easy on the eyes, and they're good. They're really well structured. But you can always just get a blank page and start all over again, getting shapes from here, putting all the different shapes that you want. You want to put the main idea at first, and then you can add lines. You add lines. You go right here. You take a white line, for example, make it smaller. Bam, thinner, not that thin. Well, doesn't matter. You put it right here, let's say. You give it a small twist. Yep. Okay, and maybe right here now you want to add another shape. Circle. This is your branch. Well, you have to make the square smaller, but you get the idea. You can build your mind map on Canva that easily. It's if you want to build a very basic one, it's not good to use Canva, because Canva is good for designing one properly. If you just want to do one really quickly, just use an app like Mindly, and it will be easier for you to do it. Otherwise, if you want to do a proper mind map, always use Canva. I use it. Everybody use it. All my friends, a lot of them, they bought, and I myself bought some premium features for mind mapping. And I can tell you, Canva does a way better job, and you can get way more creative with it, and you can just put whatever you want with no restrictions. And worst come to worst, you can use Mindly to just build a basic one until you have the time to develop a proper mind map on Canva.